And we are
Yay!
set. All right. Welcome, everyone. It is December 5th, 2025. I am one of your hosts, Squire Kirshner. I'm joined by my other favorite person in the world, Joy Shutters Helbing.
Hi,
And we
friends.
are on MVP Office Hours. Let's go through the motions here. I know it's tedious, but we do it every time. So, just a reminder, you can always see our upcoming schedule at bit.ly/MVP office hours. We're going to have a meeting on the 19th. We're going to take off the 2nd because it's Joy's birthday, but also because it's the day after New Year's. We'll be back on track on the 16th. There's going to be some oddity, just warning everyone ahead of time about the schedule because the 16th is the second Friday, but the third Friday is still January, which means I have to reset the pattern. So if you're not seeing a way to register for February immediately, just give me a little bit, give me 30 seconds to fix it, and then we'll be back on track in February. I'll remind everyone of that in January as well. We're always on the first and third when able. We can be found on LinkedIn. Uh, don't use email unless you absolutely have to. It's really just the nature of the beast of having a site like this. Please use the success community if you've got questions, concerns, feedback. Email is still being followed, but it's not the best way to get your answers. Coming up, World Tour is today, tomorrow, something like that. Next week, I've lost track.
In New York is next week. Yeah.
Yeah. And Chicago is the 16th. Architect Dreamin' is just around the corner. I know I'm very excited about that. Followed by Cactus Force in the same week, 21st, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And then TDX is in April, and lots of stuff coming after the new year. A lot of those community events will start popping back up after the holiday break. Always find that stuff on salesforce.com/events. And feel free to share it on our success community if it's something that you're passionate about or one of your local communities that you want to make sure is visible. So I don't believe I missed anything. I'm going real fast. Had lots of Red Bull today. Um, the success community is your friend. There's a QR for the site. Hopefully everybody's there all the time. Since you're here, just a reminder, we want everyone to share everything they know, their insights, their ideas, their questions, their comments, put links in the chat, share what you want to share. We all get better by working together. If you've got a question for the group, you can put it in the chat and we'll get to you in the order it's received, or raise your hand and we'll try to keep an eye out for it. But as you saw when we kicked off, please remember we're recording. The internet's forever. That means please don't share anything that's private or proprietary. You're welcome to share your screens, but keep that in mind. And another friendly reminder, we would prefer that we're not using AI to transcribe this call. It's a it's not a Salesforce supported call, and so we want to make sure that it's a safe place for everyone on the call, and so AI can be a little bit questionable when it's doing transcripts. So keep that in mind. And of course, we want to have fun. We're all here to have fun, but let's be professional. Let's be positive. Let's solve some problems.
Yay!
And with that, I only saw a single comment in Success, but I may have missed others. Andrea was having some challenges with a deployment through Capado. I'm going to stop
Mhm.
sharing. I don't know if she joined. I think she was
I
going to.
don't see Andrea on the call, and
Okay.
so and I also don't see any of my resident Capado experts, but I do know I've got some folks on the call who know what they're doing in Capado. Um, so I don't. Do we have enough information to even attack that?
She has quite a bit of detail in the Success post, effectively trying to deploy a screen flow. There's no debugging errors when she's testing it or when she's running it on the record page, but when she tries to deploy it, she's getting a table component error. And it makes me think
Hmm.
there's maybe some moving parts in there or some order of operation as far as the deployment that's causing her headaches that she doesn't recognize. But I don't know Capado to know that for sure. So
All right. So the link to the Trailblazer group is in the chat. And so if you all like really want to go down that rabbit hole with Andrea and think you can take her details and run with it, I would suggest you go ahead and do that. And if
and
Andrea joins the call, we'll get her kicked off. You guys okay? No problems over the over the holiday weekend that you need to bring to the table. Like nothing, no questions in the chat. You all are just like here for the fun and games.
yeah,
Not an issue, but I have an update.
awesome.
Ooh, fantastic, Todd. Tell us.
Comes from many months ago. It's taken us
Yes,
this
like
long to make a decision.
let's recreate the context, shall
Yes,
we?
we were looking
Okay.
for a scheduling product to use within Salesforce.
Yes.
And I had posted that in the forum, and
Hmm.
they came back with suggestions, and we finally made the decision to go with Sumo Scheduler. We looked
Okay.
at Salesforce Scheduler, we looked at Microsoft Bookings and a couple others, and uh, part of it's the people involved, and part of it's just the product itself. So now we have to get it all
Okay.
done by March 1.
Hey, that's a lot of lead time. I mean, you got all of January and all of February.
Yeah. As I'm putting on the invoice, still waiting for a PO.
All right,
So
you get
John,
your
I appreciate all the suggestions from the community, though. So that helped us
great.
out.
That's great.
I want to put my architect hat on for a second. Can you talk a little bit about what the key decision points were? Maybe you don't have to share anything that's like proprietary or inappropriate, but or not inappropriate, but like not for the call. But like, what were some of the decisions that had to be made so that the next person that has to do this can think ahead?
So we kind of have a specific use case. So we are a yearbook company, one of the top 3 in the country, and we do virtual sessions with our customers and graphics designers to come up with their covers. And our manual process was sales rep talks to the school, fills out a form in Salesforce that goes to the virtual cover group. Virtual cover talks to the graphics designers and comes up with a date. Oh, none of those dates work. Now we got to go back through the process. The sales rep goes back to the school. It's all manual.
Sure.
So what this is going to do for us and what our requirements were is the sales rep needs to be able to sit there while they're talking to the yearbook advisor, be able to pull up either a specific graphics designer or a group of them and find a date and time that works for everybody. So we're eliminating all the manual process. So as we were talking through this with Sumo, they really engaged and asked questions, and they had solutions. One of the other products we worked with, they're like, well, yeah, you can do that. You'll just have to customize it. Yeah, we can do that. You'll just have to customize it. And it was kind of the same answer all the time. Yeah, we can do that, but you'll have to customize it. So the other little piece in this is we have an approval process. So if they try to schedule one of these sessions less than 2 weeks out, it has to be approved by the graphics department manager because they want to give them. And there's one of the other requirements was only so many sessions per week.
Mm.
So 3 per day, no more than 9 per week. So, and that's all built in.
Oh, perfect. All right. So there's definitely a really critical part of being able to use it day one, not have to make modifications to get it to MVP, right? Okay.
Correct. The
And was
only
that
thing,
because of the timeline or because of the skill set?
yes.
Okay.
I'm a solo admin. Does that answer the question?
Sure
So,
does.
yeah. Yeah, timeline and just what time I have. I am going to have to go learn. I either have to use the old approval process or I need to go learn the flow approval. That's the only piece that they did not support, the Sumo did not support natively, was an approval process.
Are you using the approval processes currently?
Yes,
The existing ones, not the orchestration?
correct. We have a number of those in place now.
Is there does anyone know if there's an end of life on the standard approval processes?
There is no declared yet end of life.
Okay.
There's
So-
no way they're going to end of life. They might
No,
stop.
I agree.
You know,
I agree. Because
terminology.
They
we
might
have folks in classic.
they might
Right.
back off the support for a bit, but I don't think they'll. It's going to be a long time before they can completely end of life, because they made so the approval process was built on all those pieces that are could be
Mhm.
used in workflow rules. And while yes, they're deprecating workflow rules, they are not deprecating all those pieces parts because all those are available in Flow.
Mhm. So
The only one that I know of those things that's being deprecated is outbound calls. The outbound messaging is being end of life, I think, actually, in like a year.
Outbound messages are being end of life.
Yes.
I think
Interesting.
Todd just realized he's going to have to move everything he has, all of his approvals to the new orchestration.
No, that's no outbound processes involved there. We've got another interface though that I've got 4 of those in place for that right now. Somewhere I missed that along the lines. Need to take a note.
I feel like I heard it at TDX over a year ago, in a talk about platform events.
Good to know.
All right.
I mean, in most of the documentation, it's outbound messaging is usually almost the second to last option in the decision matrix, so that should be indicative as well. But yeah, I haven't seen a date either, Linda. But you're right; it's almost never talked about, right? It's all about platform events and
Mhm.
rhythm callouts and things like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure out your approach. So
So what are they suggesting for a replacement?
I can tell you exactly what they're replacing or what they're recommending. Second.
I could have sworn it was like a platform event. I mean, because you can build a flow-based one, but they're not. I don't know. We went away from that a long time ago where I'm
All
at.
right. I guess I'll be talking to Qualtrics then and see what they have. Since that's where our interface is.
The decision guide for asynchronous processing is going to tell you the answers for all of the trade-offs. I mean, it's going to get you I shouldn't say all. It's going to get you real close to understanding where you probably should look next based on the requirements of your process. So,
all right. Thank you. That's why I attend these sessions.
Yeah. Cool.
I love an update. I love an update.
Yeah, right. How about I give you another update? So I don't know if anybody saw, but Jay and I had a conversation after the last meeting about that row summary question.
Ooh, yes.
It came down to, I think, just a level of semantics. It was working exactly as it should have been, but he was looking for actual multiple row level calculations versus summary level. And as soon as it kind of clicked that that's what he was asking for, and we showed a couple screenshots, he's like, "Yep, okay, cool. What do I do?" And I said, "Well, there's nothing you can do from the platform's perspective to get more row level summaries. Now you'll have to add custom fields that do that work for you and report on those, and that's where we left it. But he didn't get his problem answered, but he got the answer he needed, if that makes sense.
To move forward to do something.
Something, yeah. At least he knows that it's not failing. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to, but wasn't what he needed it to do. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Really, no questions do all. I'm just so glad everything's going
for
so
the
well.
group in general.
We got Square.
The Milwaukee admin user group lost its co-head chair, co-lead. So I'm flying solo, and it's hard enough to do it when you've got 2 or even 3, let alone 1. So I need to try to get an event on the calendar in December, and I was wondering if anybody has heard or seen a recent presentation that they'd recommend that I could reach out on to present this month virtually. So
for the admin group?
Yeah, it's an admin one.
Blackbot.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's January, Mike Reynolds. That's January. I was actually going to suggest Slack for Salesforce admins as a topic, because as Slack becomes more prevalent across the operating system, it's going to be important that admins know how that can interface with their system if that's an option. So
also, I didn't even see Mike here. That was just me saying Slackbot.
Well,
sorry. I'm sorry.
And that's January. Hold on, it's January.
Yeah. Joy, is there someone you know who's done that presentation that would probably be willing to do it?
Yeah, I think there are some people that can do that, and I can work with you.
I didn't want to assume it would be Mike. I wasn't sure if it was the Chicago area that was outside of Mike.
So the Chicago group is actually will be flitting around the Agentforce World Tour Is that next week already? No, that's in 10 days,
Yeah,
11
six-
days. So yeah, we'll be flitting around that. And then I don't know about the content. I'm sure there is someone who would be happy to work with you in that. And if you're doing it virtually, I can also help you with that. So
yeah, it's probably gonna be virtual just because of the
Sue
needs. So
and Mike and Sarah, like y'all just popped in on me. I was like, Squire's letting everybody in the front door. This is great.
yeah,
Uh,
click and accept, and everybody comes running
this
in.
was great. This was great. But we were all just talking about how we didn't have any problems since last time we met. So I like
Well, Salesforce problems.
any
Also, Squire, Andy Udkin, in the Trailblazer community, offered to do presentations on, I think, something with Flow. I don't remember if it was approval process or something else.
Oh yeah,
Todd?
he's been big into the approval processes lately. So
I was late. I'm sorry, but I was in another meeting with Alex, who works on the Flow team, and she gave an amazing demonstration on how to set up flows for an enterprise, and just thinking about, order of execution and testing, and how do you set up variables so that you can deploy it to multiple orgs. It just like blew my mind of where we've come. The first time I saw Flow was, it was not a really good experience. And now, like, what can't you do with Flow? Several things, but most things you can do with Flow. So I just blah, 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 talk.
Alex Rad. Yeah. Thank you.
And if that's our biggest problem this week, friends, I guess we can. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
Is that
okay.
it?
Well,
Yay!
I
So I-
have. Oh, go
I
ahead,
have a-
Linda.
So
You
I've
go,
been
Linda.
trying to clean up some old developer orgs to get rid of them,
Mhm.
because apparently you have to uninstall all the packages or they don't go away. Even when you say deactivate, you get a message saying it can't deactivate.
Are
And
you
in
you're
several-
talking about sandboxes or
No, old like developer orgs from doing trailhead badges and stuff. Like they they don't all just delete. As I've learned the hard way, when I logged in with my email and saw there were like 150 orgs that I still attached to.
Linda?
Oh yeah. So I've been doing that, but
Wow.
I've run into a little issue where I have several of them attached to NPSP, and it's telling me I can't get rid of them because there are these profiles that are Salesforce provided profiles that normally don't have access to the opportunity object, but have an opportunity layout assigned to them. And nowhere, even the old trick of going to the old version of the page layout, the profile layout, can I unassign them?
Have you tried Tim Shug's problem profile editor tool?
No.
Okay, I'm looking for it. Just a sec.
Is that something I have to install though? Because installing stuff really doesn't appeal to me.
I get the irony there. But so quick question though, I feel like because this falls under the it's not your problem.
Yeah, I
couldn't-
tried it.
no,
That
no,
it's
no,
not my
couldn't-
problem.
Couldn't you just remove them from your trailhead because you have the remove
So
option?
they are not
then
in
leave
my
them orphaned.
trailhead. Some of
Oh.
these have not been in my trailhead since 2016. But they are still active orgs that I can still log into if I wanted to. And they do not go away. And sometimes they still send me emails because I'll get an email saying, hey, we're going to delete it. And then it sends me an email, we can't delete it. And please call Salesforce support. So I have called Salesforce support. I actually have a meeting with them later today. But when I first called Salesforce support, they put me to the Trailhead support, who told me they can't help me.
So you can't just abandon them because they're bothering you every so
They're
often.
bothering me. I literally
yeah.
had
Just-
one
yeah.
that
That's fair.
emails
Just
me
change your
daily.
email address, Linda. Just change
I'm
your
really
email.
tempted to change it to the Trailblazer CGL email since that's going away.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's actually not a bad idea to set up the alert email address in that org or the admin email address to be one like a throwaway burner email address, and then you'll never have to think about it again.
Not
I'm feeling
invalid.
like the alert one I should set to like someone at Salesforce. So that
There you
maybe they
go.
do something
Yeah,
about
figure
it.
out whatever support agent gets
Like, I
assigned
feel
to
like
your
Mike's
case.
here, not even the support agent. I can just assign that to Mike. You're welcome, Mike.
Malicious chaos.
Look,
That's what I
there are
feel
3
here.
Mike Reynoldses that work at Salesforce. The odds that you get me aren't that great. So, I
All right,
mean,
Linda's gonna try some things. Yay. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about something similar recently because I had been doing all these dev orgs to try to build some stuff for a presentation, and I'm like, wow, I have like 7 dev orgs that all have slight variations on the same usernames. I wish I could get rid of some of those, you know? So I feel ya. I don't have any
I
brilliant
mean, I've
solutions.
successfully gotten rid of like 30 of them so far.
Yeah.
But some are hung up with the NPSP, so
Yeah.
Freaking NPSP.
And then I have ones that like won't delete and they tell me they have a managed package and I'm like, I don't see any managed packages.
the
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I suppose if the burden was 50 and you only have 6 left, then that's improved. If it's just the NPSP ones, it's improved. Thanks. All right. Well, you guys noodle on that and circle back with us when you figure it out. And Andrea joined the call. Andrea, we started with you at the top of the hour.
I know. I had
And,
another meeting that came up, and
I
so
mean, you know, work happens. We know work happens.
well,
And
it's
so-
funny because the meeting that was set up is regarding setting up gear set, and my problem is in Capado, so we're in this weird like, you know, we're transitioning. But that doesn't mean the problem isn't there, and it's not going to pop up after we, switch.
Right.
systems.
So we talked about it very like obtusely. So do you want to walk us through let's see, we can bring that up, right?
I can show y'all what the fun that I have been having. She said with so much sarcasm.
We have different definitions of fun is where we landed. Like
All right. So this is the flow, screen flow, I put it in debug and it works. It works fine. Come on. I run it. It takes forever. This is the table that does not want to be deployed. It works here fine.
Data table or unofficial SF data table?
I believe it's the native.
Yeah, it looks standard to me.
Yeah. And so yeah, all it has to do it again works fine. Show me the things.
Can you show us that screen, the setup part of that data table piece?
I can. So it's using there's a get records just above this, and that's the collection. I tried it with save all the fields, save just these select fields. Doesn't like those. I tried it as multiple select, single select. I only needed to view.
Okay,
But
so you got the view. What do you have in configure columns?
Name, code, primary.
So you see that new column that doesn't have a name? Yeah, bye-bye.
Okay.
So that's one piece that might actually fit,
What's the
which is
error?
stupid.
What's
Well,
the
what
error
error
you're
you
getting
get?
on?
It
Yeah.
is this right here. Me.
Oh, interesting.
I like the theory that unnamed column could be it.
I don't think it, but it wasn't always. I mean, I can try again. I'm not going to sit and make you all watch it, try to commit and deploy again. But it wasn't always there because this is a recreation. Previously, this table was on a separate screen, and then I'm like, well, maybe it doesn't like this. I'll put it all on the same screen.
Wait, go back to the error for a second.
Yeah, the error.
Yeah, it says
gets really
it's got
descriptive.
a missing or multiple fields. Like
There's
do you have
single
did you have a field in there? I wonder if the XML behind it somehow has a field duplicated.
Well, but that field had missing data,
Yeah,
which
that's
is when it's saying it's like it's either missing or contains multiple things. I think it was the missing. Like I think that was the hanging chad of this.
I agree.
I will activate this. We can move on to someone else and we can come back and see if this was the thing that I missed, in which case, oh, I hate it when that happens.
I don't think anyone else has a question, so we can just watch you validate
Watch
right
me.
now.
All you, Andrea.
Yeah, I mean, I have a musing, but it's not a real
Oh,
question.
well,
Oh,
let's-
you can
mute
muse
while
while we
Andrea-
watch
Okay.
it validate.
Yeah.
I'll
All right,
stop
so-
sharing. I'll stop sharing. Do the thing, and you muse, and we'll check back.
Okay, so my musing is about Experience Cloud and registering for like self-registration for Experience Cloud, and the pain in the butt that is in my life, and especially when it comes to interacting with NPSP, where we get folks. So basically, when somebody self-registers for our Experience Cloud site, they get dumped in this self-registered user's account because you have to assign them to an account, and then NPSP tries to reassign them to their own household account, and it results in all of these terrible orphan data and anonymous accounts and all kinds of stuff. And we could try to solve that problem, but what I'm really curious about is, can I replace the whole process with my own custom flow? Is that a thing that anybody has tried or thought about, like creating self-registration via flow? Allowing user registration.
Like login flow?
It's like a login flow, but it's pre-login because they don't have anything to log in with yet.
So
Okay.
where
fair.
would you reside it? That's like
Yeah.
how would you host the flow if it's pre
But that's not even-
Salesforce?
But you could do that though, because
Right. It
it's
sounds
not
like
it's not actually pre Salesforce. It
Right.
is the access of the guest site user, right?
right.
And so the guest site user is the one that can actually view the page that is the self-registration page, which you've got to do that anyway.
Yeah.
So it would be hosted there. You can do it with code.
Uh-huh.
Like that is a yes, that can. What I'm trying to figure out is can
Should you?
you well
Can you replace that code with flow instead? I don't know if
I mean,
it lets you yet,
It could probably.
unless you call the flow from the code.
Would it be like an LWC or
would.
could?
I mean,
Okay.
it's possible. I think
Yeah.
you get away. I wonder, I mean, like I don't I'm trying to think like is it going to circumvent the problem that you're experiencing with like households and the attempted remapping of things? Like is that going to actually solve your problem? And then because what I'm wondering, maybe I'm down the wrong rabbit hole, but like part of the challenge is going to be maintaining appropriate anonymity
Mhm.
up until a point when you know you don't need to.
Mm,
So
mhm.
like if somebody shows up and they're like, I want to join the Reynolds household, what is the necessary threshold of them providing you with information during the registration process to allow that to be, yep, have my degree of confidence, gonna make you a household member? And then could you
Yeah.
handle enough of that and do it safely, right? Because that's the thing, right? Because I could fish for information. I mean, like that's such a, but a malicious actor or an automated malicious actor could fish for a large amount of information if they were trying to be mischievous.
Yeah, I think what I might lean towards, which is sort of like splitting the difference between the two, is creating basically creating a duplicate, but at least a duplicate that like has the right account model and doesn't have to go through this like reassignment process, because we get a lot of anonymous households that way, which are annoying to
Yeah.
clean up. So like, yes, it's a duplicate, but at least I can just then merge their households afterwards. So
Right.
don't let somebody join an existing household, but also don't have them have this weird anonymous, not really a
Sure.
household.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. Because you're right that I
Um,
think it is the privacy thing is always a
Yeah.
security thing, you know.
And this is NPSP, right?
Could you do something before save with a before save flow that grabbed that contact and found the right account. Oh, I guess it can't. No, and found the right account and changed the account on the contact before
Maybe.
creating a new contact on a new household account.
You don't want to do it that way, because if you do it that way, I can read text. Because
Sorry?
you'd have to, so you would have to expose this to the guest site user.
Right.
And if you expose it to the guest site user, I can,
Get to the
I
contacts.
I can read your first and last contact.
Oh, but why do you need to expose it to the guest site user? Why not? If currently they're just registering and then they have an account and they don't know what's happening with a contact record,
Right. It's so
you don't
let it
need
go
to
through the
say,
native.
are you in this household? You just assume it based on your flow criteria.
What I'm getting at is like, it's in where we stack the dominoes, I need to ensure that I'm not accessing, excuse me, not that I'm not accessing. I cannot return any results of queries. Think about it that way, to a user on the reg process.
Right.
I need to ensure that I'm not returning any results of queries until after you are registered and authenticated. Then I have boundaries that
It'd
I
be
can
like
put in place.
an after
Yeah, so
flow.
it's, my objection is to the use of before.
Okay. But if you did it after, I mean, you could. What I'm hearing from you, Sarah, is it's presumably creating a duplicate Mike Reynolds and Reynolds household, but you could have a flow that then found the old Mike Reynolds connect. That could be after as well, and it would just have to do a delete and stuff. But
What
Yeah,
kind of
'cause I-
volume?
I don't know. I mean,
but you'd have to authenticate
see.
that. But otherwise, I could go in and say, yeah, I'm a new Mike Reynolds, and register me. If it overwrites the existing Mike Reynolds without doing some sort of authentication loop to say, how do I know that you're the real Mike Reynolds?
or like which Mike Reynolds you are of the three
Then
that we
right,
know.
then it could pass back information to me that is not correct, or could be anonymous.
Yeah. Let's see. I think the real problem is there's something in NPSP and the way that it interacts with Experience Cloud that I result in all of these they're just called like anonymous household because the primary contact doesn't get assigned correctly or something. And so
Right.
like that's the thing I'm actually trying to solve more than anything else. So maybe it's just trying to figure out what's going on in there and
There are-
intervening at the right step.
you end up with anonymous households that do have contacts in them,
Yeah. But
and their primary contact field is filled.
no, it's empty. That's the problem, I think.
So why not just write a flow that
Yeah.
finds it, puts them back?
Yeah,
Mhm.
probably. It's probably the easiest.
You
I'm
know,
still
and-
curious about this like
Agreed.
self-registration piece, but
Yeah.
yes.
So what is, how is the primary contact on the household being nulled?
I have no idea. I'd have to do some debug logs.
Because I would wonder too, if for the sake of the, like your own forensics playing,
Yeah.
if you created a field, just like a text field on the contact, and when the contact is created, you put as text the ID of the account, so that you could go back later and be like, okay, well, this was like at some point in time,
This
we were
was your
here,
account.
right?
Yeah.
Or if at any point in time you were a primary, I guess, no, I don't think about backwards. When an account gets a primary contact, populate the account ID into that primary contact field,
Yeah.
because then you'd be like, oh, well, it's blank now, but it was like, this one was that, right? Like you could go back later and do some matching.
Yeah.
This is very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, I was telling somebody recently, like my org is old enough now that there's enough technical debt that things are starting to like do this to each other, especially
Right.
with NPSP code. So that's fun.
Yeah.
I thought you were
I
going to
still
say it was old enough to vote. Like,
No, not that old. They're not even double digits yet. Next year. Next year.
exciting.
Yeah, it
exciting.
is.
I mean, I think your reg issue, like, could you do it with a flow? I think flow is probably not ideal, but I
Yeah,
think like you could easily build a component. I mean, but then you're
sure.
entering the code space, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Um,
Would be a good excuse for me to practice.
yeah. I mean, and you could certainly help handle some of these situations. Like you could ensure that you were stamping
Yep.
that account that is going to end up becoming the orphaned household. You could make sure that you were stamping,
Mhm.
but because it could be something in your actual reg process right now that
Mhm.
is actually doing the stepping. Because I don't think NPSP was really built with Experience Cloud in mind.
No, certainly wasn't. At least not this piece of it. Household creation. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's cool.
All right,
Thanks for
Sarah,
some.
come back to us when you figure that one out.
I will. I'll let you know what I do.
And then in other news, Andrea got a error message that is
The same one.
The same one. Yes. I'll show you what I've finding errors in like going through the layers of things in Capado is an adventure. This is it that's the way I'm gonna that's why this is the thing I found. I'm like, I don't know, these are some log or the function logs. So I'm just like, oh, I don't know.
scanning. Sure.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm looking for.
There it
Oh, there
is.
you go.
Error stack. Command execution error.
Yeah. There's that. All right, not that you can it won't let me. I can't.
Right, but that's the one you had.
Yeah. Quit scrolling. Are you 100% confident that the table you're looking at is table underscore current HPTs?
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
cool.
that table. Oh, sorry, let me find where that was now. There we go.
Right. I mean, that's just the error message we know because it gave it to you.
Mhm.
Right. And then if
That's
you,
Sorry, go ahead.
Here,
I was going to
it's
say, if you remove the table, this deploys without issue.
It previously deployed. Yes, there are other versions of this flow. And click back. So there were one of these was the it was
probably
a
version 8, the one that's
Yeah,
was activated at one point.
probably was the
Mm,
previous version.
That error log did have some troubleshooting ideas in it.
I'm gonna go back to it now.
So it says, look for these issues, input type, multi-select, required field.
I feel like you said multi-select and I expect Steve Mo to show up. Sorry, Steve. I'm like, I don't mean to like throw you
Well,
out.
and that's
Throw you
what
out
I
the
was
window.
just asking though, but field access. So does whoever the user is that is connected for deployments, does that user have access to all the columns that you are using in that table?
That's a great question.
They should, because it's set up as an admin.
Again, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Salesforce admin was granted access to all the columns in the table.
Well, but when I test this on the record, I can see all of the tables. And the permission set for the admin. There's an admin permission set.
Right, but
Capado
you can see all the fields and they are all populated, at least in one record. Okay.
Yeah, so I tried this. The debug that shows up here, that's how it looks on the record. Yeah.
And you're the user on Capado.
Well, it goes through as there's a service account for the Capado.
Does the service account have the access?
That's what Linda was asking, I think.
Yeah,
That might be the
no,
problem.
I understand.
Okay.
But they should also have the same
permission set is what she's saying.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But I will double check. I probably wanted the other org, don't I?
Is that a Capado thing? Like you don't actually have to have access to metadata to deploy the metadata.
Yes and no. So interesting fact, sometimes flow will fail if you don't have access to a given field within it.
But you're saying running the
Not
flow,
always,
deploying the
sometimes.
flow.
Literally, I've had times when I have not been able to deploy a flow because I was not granted access to a field that was used, depending on how it was used in the flow.
This is because your user received an error message.
My
and
error
couldn't
on the
render-
deploy, only on the deploy.
I think
Right.
that especially comes up with data tables sometimes because
Yeah.
they're
So the
I mean, it's worth checking.
the
for
Capado
sure.
user in the next environment up has the system admin permission set group
Okay.
added.
And you're completely certain that that does contain all of the referenced pieces of metadata.
I can double check.
Does
And
the next
that it's a permission set group has it successfully recalculated.
This is also a dumb question, but does the next environment have all the fields?
It should, because I didn't add any fields. The fields that were there existed already, but I will.
And this data table is like the new piece in the flow.
Yeah, it's literally just showing existing records. That's all it needs to do. So like, hey, here's what already exists. Are you sure you need to continue?
Right.
All it
I would
needs.
just
If I could just jump in really quick, I just want to make sure that like these are all it's all very applicable, but I want to jump back to the error. The error is the message you get when you try to put a collection in a field or it's expecting a collection, you're only passing a field. How certain are you that what you configured is doing what you think it's doing as far as
That it's a collection.
collection being passed in? Like you're not passing a collection to a single column or something weird, right?
So this is it in real time. If I click this button, the table's there. And it worked like it shows me that's what I needed it to show me. It's doing the thing.
this is
Are
in the
those
lower
formulas?
environment, right?
This is right. This is where I'm trying to get it out of. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Are those formulas?
Nope. Everything, it's just I don't think so, but I will double check. No, because it's the name, the code, that's a text field. Active and primary, those are just checkboxes. So
None of them are. I feel like the multi-select keeps coming up, and I keep looking at this thing. It says contains multiple fields, but it's not an issue here.
That's not
You don't
what that
have any.
means.
No.
I mean,
No,
the
I
reason
just
I'm
I got
asking
hung
is
up.
because there's a long thread on the original data table component about this same error, and it had everything to do with the variable configuration being passed to the table.
So this,
Where your get records is, are you getting all fields?
it's failed both ways.
Okay.
I did it with all fields, and I did it with just a subset.
You're not.
What are the API versions?
This is on 65.
Okay.
And then I think I looked at this. One of them was. So that's the thing is, so this is
Maybe
my.
like 63.
It was, and then when I tried to put it back to 64 and save, and then it yelled at me
Yeah.
before even trying to deploy. It was like, nope, you can't do it.
What is the API of the environment you're deploying into?
Also
65
65.
would have to be right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, and I checked that because there was one of my teammates was having issues with flows.
Is
And for some
this
reason, putting it back to 64 cleared up the deployment issues.
Yeah, 'cause
is the API version in the project JSON or whichever I can't remember which file it is off the top of my head. also 65, or is that set to something like 64?
I don't know.
Because in the source control that it's using.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea.
Because that
I don't do
will,
any.
because
We don't do. I don't.
I
I
know
don't
what
do
you're saying.
front-end source control.
Have
There's
you
no source
tried
control.
deploying? Have you tried downgrading this flow to 64 and trying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she said it wouldn't
And
let
then
her.
Yeah, it throws an error.
Oh, okay.
it yelled at me
'Cause there's some
and I think it was because of the
features.
tables.
Yeah, well, that's what
Oh,
I'm wondering
okay.
if there's like something
Right,
in your
which means that if
higher
the,
environment can't handle the newer
well, it's not the higher
features.
environment. It sounds like whatever
Oh.
she's got for the CLI and the version it's
Oh,
connected
sure.
to is saying, because a lot of times what happens is with each API version, different pieces of metadata get included within a single XML file.
Okay. I wonder, it looked like one of the troubleshooting suggestions was to upgrade
The CLI
the
in the
CLI.
environment.
What happens after it passes this screen in the flow? It just asks some more questions and closes the flow, or is it doing other?
No, you select you based on you'll select records from one of these two tables depending on which one you want. And depending on which path you pick, it creates records, it does a whole bunch of checks, blah 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 blah.
Okay, right there, pause. So you've got at least one action. So the other thing that I'm seeing in this thread is that error could be that you've also not set up an action to accept multiple selections. And so even though it tests correctly, the validation when you push in says, I can't take more than one choice out of this table, even though it wants to, or vice versa. So
You're meaning so that table's referenced somewhere else, even not just for the display.
right, it's saying I can accept a single record, and so it doesn't fail when you debug. But when I deploy, this action might get past a collection, and I don't know what to do with the collection. So I'm going to go back to the table, which is what set that collection or set that variable, and say that's where the error is. So maybe that's someplace to look to. Is there what are you doing with the selections from the table?
She's not making selections. She's just displaying that table.
But there's selectable choices in it.
The table that errors is a view only. These second tables, depending on which table you go from, that's the path that it goes down here.
Yep.
And then it creates a record. And none of this or the original tables, no changes were made.
Okay.
So the read-only table, this is another dumb question, but can you check to make sure there's no outputs from it? Or it's not trying to output anything?
Here.
So like under advanced.
The only thing I've tried
Okay,
this.
great.
I've tried this both ways. I've tried
Yeah, that has not the same thing. She meant that manually assign variables.
Yeah, but it looks like
Oh.
it's unchecked, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Though, if you ever had checked that in the past, sometimes they get stuck. It's a little weird.
Gotcha.
Also, there's no validation on it or anything, right?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
And I've tried this too, where it's changing what made this visible. It was on a decision node. So before it was a separate screen on a decision node, and I'm like, okay, well, let's put this all on this. Let's try this. Put it on the same screen. And it's still.
So, this is about I found a thread that's not about data table, but it's about the email action having a very similar error message because of a API mismatch. And part of it is because there's new fields or like new XML parameters in the 65 version that aren't in the 64 version. So when you're trying to deploy, if there's somewhere a 64 version of the XML, it might not be finding the parameters that it's expecting. Or it's saying, I don't know what to do with these parameters because they don't exist in this thing that I'm comparing it to. This is the thread, in case it is helpful.
So I guess the question becomes,
What is Kapato set to what API is Kapato set to use?
I don't know. I don't even know how to check that.
It's in the sftx-project.json file. But
Those are
But
work.
that's in, yeah, great. So that's in source, but that would be in source control.
Okay, so really a ridiculous idea. But I want to test something based on a different thing that I found. Can you very offensively put this into a change set and move it?
Just for the purposes of like just
For
getting
the
it.
purposes of testing,
I can sure.
can you put it into, I mean, you'd have to make sure that it was even available to be put into a change, like that you had an environment that you could, but this is a thing that you do not need to necessarily share your screen with, but I would test it because it might magically deploy in a change
Yeah,
set.
the answer is no. There is not the orgs are not connected.
Right.
But you could connect it to another dev box just to see.
That's what I would connect it.
Yeah.
I would connect it to the environment that I'm the sandbox that I'm erroring with.
Yeah.
There's it might be like a whole to do because you'd also need all the missing dependencies, which there are probably some. But I was having a conversation with Slackbot and we came up with that idea. And based on what Slackbot is saying, there's a valid reason to maybe test that. So
okay. I mean, again, in another week and change, it might become a moot point. And that's the other workaround I have. Maybe I'll try something with.
Can you use gear set yet?
I can use it. I just don't have I can use it to deploy specific changes between environments. I just don't have a pipeline set up yet fully.
You could just,
have you set up source control to use with gear set, or are you guys not doing source control?
We will be. We just haven't done it yet because we had to get the guy who has the creds for we're getting there.
I really think it's your API version that's in your source control is your problem. It's really what it sounds like.
Okay.
And maybe you need to go to the guy who's got the creds and ask him to check that.
Please update this.
Please.
Yeah, because that might explain why my coworker had issues with could explain why he had issues with other flows and why going back to API 64 resolved it.
And not just flows. So there are other things that you would have problems with.
We haven't thus far. So.
Right. Wow. But like any new stuff from Winter 26 that you're trying to deploy could get wonky.
I mean, I like if you wanted to like set the field history tracking on user, that would not deploy because that was not available till API 65.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll go in and check it. My phone's downstairs and I have to two-factor into GitHub to look at that. So, okay. But it's weird because like, I don't know. I will look into this article and see. I'll try it with GearSet and see if I can move it just for the sake of like, giving it a whirl to see if it's maybe it is a source control problem. So,
I mean, even DevOps, Salesforce DevOps dealt with the API issue because it didn't used to pick up the newest version when you use the template. So it could just be as silly as your Kopato's on 47 and you just don't realize it.
Right.
Yeah. I wouldn't even, I'd find where. I don't even know where.
It sounds more like it's 64 though, because if they're able to deploy 64, because somewhere between 47 and.
Well, I just made up a number, Linda. I wasn't saying it's on 47, but you don't know how old it is until you know how old it is, right?
I really want it to be on like 47.
That'd be great, right?
I want that for you.
Yeah, but then she'd be getting lots of other messages for her.
Maybe.
47 was a great API version. One of my favorites.
It was a good year for API.
Do you even remember what was in that API version, Mike?
No. No, I actually remember changing from 44 to 47 and wasting like an entire Saturday
Yeah, that'll do it.
because there was like a whole nother tag in Lightning record pages, and it ruined my day. Like every file had to be updated.
Yeah, I did find an article. I searched for Capado. It says you can migrate your repository to a new metadata API version, leverage a low impact deployment, and let Capado do the rest.
Or not.
Migrate your repository.
That's the name of the article. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't do a new
That's-
API like. Yeah. So that's what it says to like, yeah, take a low impact deployment like Capado do the rest. So commit the elements that have changed in the latest API version on a user story in the lowest environment on the same story. Commit an element that has not changed in the org or something that can be deployed without causing any issues. A label, for instance. Promote the user story manually. In the deployment record, deselect all the elements except for the unchanged metadata type, the label in this case. Execute the deployment. Capado will merge the branches and only deploy the label. Repeat for the following orgs. Recommit and recreate user stories. In flight, recreate non-deployed promotions. Oofda.
And with that,
Yep.
we are at the top of the hour.
We killed Stu. I saw that. I saw him.
We have a furry. Sarah, Sarah, who's visiting?
This is Jesse.
Hi,
He's a rascal.
Fantastic. So thank you everybody for joining us today. Andrea, keep us updated on your findings because I feel like the group really wants this to be an API version issue, and we will all be vindicated if that's what it is. And then it's something that's just outside of your access, right? So
Yeah.
You'll move forward. And then we meet again in 2 weeks.
We do.
So we'll I'll be fresh off of Agentforce World Tour Chicago. And then everyone will be rolling into like the deep dark winter where everyone is on PTO until the new year.
Yep. Oh, and if you didn't see it in the chat, Pat could use any insight on learning maps. So if you know maps or you know somebody who learned maps, send vibes or links or info to Pat via Success. They could use your help.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, friends. Bye. Have a
You're all
great
the best.
day.
Thank you so much.
Happy
Bye.
Friday. Bye.